Good morning. Today is Wednesday, September 15th, 2021. I'm here with Chase. I'm Rizan. Grizzlies, buy your tickets before we sell out. This week is our homecoming game. Come support our Grizzlies as they take the Bearcats.
Do you want to join us, along with many other high schools starting a rugby club, the fastest growing sport in the U.S.? Well, come join us, the Grizzly Rugby, at our first meeting today after school in C31 to learn and or participate. We have a special treat for everyone who comes. Follow us at Los Osos, LOHS.rugby on Instagram, and message us if you have any questions.
Bring Change to Mind is a mental health awareness club committed to ending the stigma surrounding mental illness on campus. Come to our first Bring Change to Mind meeting this Thursday, September 16th, after school in Mrs. Parslow's room, D120. See you there.
Want to learn how to code video games with no experience required? Come to D85 this Friday, September 17th for our first lesson in the coding language C#. Girls who code in an all-inclusive community of members who are interested in computer science. Whether you want to learn coding for fun or for a future career, you will be provided with support, resources, and learning to begin your journey. See you there.
Hey Grizzlies, this week ASB will be hosting lunchtime activities each day. Today's activity will be a fun mummy game with streamers, and because pet rocks were popular in the 70s, Thursday at lunch, come on out and make your own personalized pet rock with googly eyes and Sharpies. Make sure to come on out for an awesome time and meet our homecoming court royalty.
Attention Grizzlies interested in playing softball this year. Tryouts will begin Monday, September 20th, 2021 from 3 to 5 on the varsity softball field. Tryouts will continue Monday, Tuesdays, Wednesdays for 2 weeks. You must be registered on athleticclearance.com and submit an updated physical prior to trying out. If you have any questions, see Coach Randall in room D126.
Attention Grizzlies, homecoming is on September 18th, and tickets are on sale now in the student store before school, after school, and at lunch. This week, September 13th to 17th, the tickets are $45 with ASB card and $50 without ASB card. We will also be selling homecoming proposal posters. Go to the student store to fill out an order form. Prices will vary depending on size and date submitted.
Are you interested in growing as a reader and thinker? Then join Diversify Our Narrative. We meet weekly in C41 to discuss diverse books and promote curriculum diversification with our district. Join us as we prepare to read Anton Truer's Young Readers edition of Everything You Wanted to Know About Indians But Were Afraid to Ask. Follow us on Remind, text LOHSDI to 81010. See Miss Lemons or Miss Teresi if you have any questions.
Varsity tennis beat Altaloma 13-5. The Grizzlies were led by Shukan Parikh and doubles Hannah Lee and Michaela Vo, all sweeping their opponents in straight sets. Great job.
Hey Grizzlies, it would be a bummer if you were to miss out on the rest of the week. Today is Wild Wednesday, so wear your Digger patterns. Tomorrow is Tube Sock Thursday, so wear your dope long socks and shorts. Lastly, Friday will be Flower Power Friday, so wear your dynamite floral gear. Catch you on the flip side.
We will end with our third installment of Wellness Wednesday. Remember to work hard,
Inspire others,
lead with integrity,
and dream big.
We will see you on Friday.
Welcome to the Character Strong Student Sessions number 3. In session 1, we talked about feeling all the feelings and validating those feelings as real. Last session, we talked about shift and persist, being buffalo that turn and face the storm. I hope you love this crew as much as I do, and once again we get to check in with Nadine, Driver, Malia, Hayden, Jace, and Robert to see how the dare, the strategy, and the gratitude practice went from the last session.
For the dare, I decided to journal about hope, and an idea that came to mind was that discouragement and hopelessness really go hand in hand. The word cor, C-O-R, in Latin means heart. And the prefix dis, D-I-S, means many different things in Latin, but one of the things is an absence of. And so the word discord, discouragement, literally means without heart. And to be without heart means to be hopeless, which is something that we can't have, especially at this time. To be hopeless means to look at your future as being dismal, but to be hopeful and to have hope means looking at the future and trusting that everything will turn out to be okay. Now, I asked my friend, a really good friend of mine, what he thought about hope. I shared my piece of art, my journaling, and then I asked him at the end what his own definition of hope is. And he said that he felt that gratitude and hope are linked. He said, when I'm grateful, I become more hopeful, which I thought was a very insightful way to think about hope.
So for this week's Hope Inspiring Art piece, I was led to create a playlist. This playlist, honestly, I don't know how I put it together, but for me, it works perfectly. I just found all these random songs that I threw together, and they, like in any other context, they wouldn't go together, but for this kind of hope-inspiring drive, they make perfect sense. The beginning are songs that kind of help cleanse and calm my mind, and then as the playlist progresses, the songs just get more motivational, more upbeat, more hype, so that by the end of the playlist, I'm not stressed anymore, but my mind is full of motivation and hype to go attack the next thing.
What's going on, everybody? Currently outside on one of my quarantine walks, something I do to clear my mind when I'm super overwhelmed, which I definitely have been recently. I just found out that I'm actually moving during quarantine, which is a whole process in itself. But I've been putting the strategy into play, asking myself, how am I gonna feel about this a year from now? And the honest answer to that I have to ask myself is that I'm gonna be feeling great a year from now. Now I'm gonna be moved into a place that I hopefully love, and hopefully all of this, coronavirus quarantine stuff is gonna be cleared up by then, and I'm gonna be feeling good. I know that it feels huge in the moment, but I'm so glad that I'm able to come out here and ask myself, really, how am I gonna feel about this a year from now? Because that just helps me so much. So I'm glad that that's something that works for me.
Hey, so this week we were challenged to call 2 people in our lives that we're thankful for. And, just let them know how thankful and grateful that we are to have them in our lives. I think it's a great way to spend time right now, especially since we don't have a lot to do. Even if it's a short call, you don't know how much of an impact it makes in their lives and in your lives. That's something that I really realized. You bring a smile into their day, you make them feel like they're worthy of something, and then for the people that are feeling bad, you realize that you have people to live for. You know what I'm saying? And it's an eye-opener for many.
Gratitude practice for this week was to reach out to 2 friends that give you joy, and then let them know through a call or a text, let them know the positive impact they made in your life. I messaged 2 of my friends. One of them was a songwriting friend, and then the other one was from my church. And I was very specific about how they both made a positive impact in my life, and it only took about 5 minutes. And I was being very specific with what I was saying, because I know the idea of being appreciated is fully recognizing someone's worth, and the more specific it is, the more genuine it is. So I was able to do that, and I think this really brought hope to them by giving that encouragement.
I think for the gratitude practice was something that I've been trying to do is reaching out to a new person every day that I either haven't talked to in a while or something like that. So with the gratitude practice, I really tried to reach out to one person every day, and that even resulted in me sending kind of love bombs to people, saying hey, I hope you know how loved you are, and really just making sure that people know that they're loved and know that right now that there's people thinking about them.
But listening to them reflect on their experiences motivates me to want to live mine just a little bit better. It's kind of the purpose of these dares and these strategies and these gratitude practices, is just to be more tools in your toolbox to help navigate tough or challenging times even just a little bit better. Session 1 was about feeling all the feelings. We talked about fighting bears in the woods, threat versus challenge. We talked about making sure we don't let strangers into our kitchen. Session 2 was about shift and persist. It was about being a buffalo and turning to face the storm. Even though running away from stress feels easier, it's actually more painful in the long run. Today's session is all about finding support. I feel like a lot of our world tries to convince us that we're supposed to do it alone. We're supposed to be independent, the lone wolf or the lone ranger. When in reality, we are designed to be social. We are social creatures. We want to be in community. One of my favorite pieces of research, they took someone and they set them at the bottom of a hill, kind of a steep hill, and they asked them to look up. They did the same thing, but they added another person next to them. And what they discovered was this. As soon as they added another person, the people said that the hill seemed less steep, less daunting. Literally, my understanding of the world around me changes when I have someone next to me. I feel like the world's kind of like that. When stuff gets challenging or hard, having someone that you know is there to support you can make those tough times just a little bit easier. So this session's about figuring out how we get more support. I know for me, there was a long time where I felt like I didn't want help. I had a really hard time asking for it. In fact, I want to tell you a story, but I'll tell you that story by telling them. A few years ago, I was going through a pretty challenging thing personally, a relationship in my life that was very important to me. I was finding a ton of turmoil in, a ton of challenge with, and I think I have this like narrative in my brain because for a long time I would go and like speak in schools about kindness and empathy and love, and I thought like because I talk about this stuff, I should live it well, right? Like how frustrating and irony to talk about love and not be very good at practicing it. And finally, when I was at a very like painful point in the process, I called one of my mentors, one of my best friends. He's many years older than me. His name's Tyler. And Tyler had been like my speaking mentor, but also like an incredible friend in my life. And I always asked him for help with work stuff, but I had never asked him for help in my personal life, even though he's literally a certified counselor. And so finally I called him and I prefaced the whole conversation with like all my typical sort of like defense mechanisms. I was like, I know you probably have a lot on your plate. I know you're feeling probably overwhelmed. And I know this is like probably going to be a burden to you. I don't want to be a burden. And then I told him that I needed his help. I needed his wisdom. I needed his support. And I'll never forget how Tyler responded. His first line back to me, very kind. He goes, Houston, you're an idiot. I said, what? He goes, you're an idiot. You're not a burden to me. You're my friend. I want to help you. And I remember in that moment, I had so many things just like click of, for so long, like I didn't want to be a burden to people because sometimes I feel overwhelmed, like I don't always know how to help. And in that moment, he reminded me that if we don't ask for help from people that want to support us, we're actually robbing them of an opportunity to serve. Right? So if we don't reach out and ask for people to help, we rob people of an opportunity to do something that is like scientifically proven to be healthy for us, right? One of the things that we know is that well-being and wellness in our life is determined in many ways by how many people we serve. Helping others oftentimes helps us. So if you or myself don't ask for that help, we're actually taking away chances for other people to serve. We're taking away other people's happiness by not being willing to ask for it in the first place. So to me, that's a really big deal and something that has inspired me to want to ask for more support in my own life. And he ended the call like this. He said, you'll never make that mistake again. I said, what mistake do you mean by that, Tyler? He goes, you'll never make the mistake of not asking for help when you need it. And I have made that mistake again, but I'm trying to get better because I know that we're not supposed to do this thing alone, that looking up at that hill is way less daunting when we do it together. When we say, I need your help, this looks steep, this looks overwhelming, can you at least look at it with me? Asking for help, knowing there are people around you to help, feeling socially connected, supported is a really key ingredient to managing stressful situations. So the dare for this session is to take a piece of paper and draw 4 circles, kind of like a target. In that middle circle, I want you to write your name, your own name. 1 circle out, I want you to write the name of someone that you feel closest to, someone that you know could support you if you needed it. 1 more circle out, someone that you feel comfortable with, but maybe don't know as well, but you think you could go to them to ask for some support of some kind. On the farthest circle out, I want you to write the name of someone you've never met, but maybe their writing or their videos or some sort of content that they've created makes you feel supported or inspired in their own way. It's kind of like a map for social support from the person closest to you, and moving outward from there. Next to each of those names, I just want you to write 1 word. one word for how you think that person supports you. So maybe mine is my mom, and maybe the word is conversation. Do that for all those names, and bonus points if you actually send a message to one of your inner circle people thanking them for the blank conversation they've given you in your life. Again, the strategy is the more like reactive piece. The strategy is if you are feeling lonely at any point over the next few days, make note of 3 people that you have not been connecting with recently. So this one's like a little bit about like ownership, right? It's like, I'm feeling lonely, but I haven't reached. Have you ever done that before? You're like, my friend like never reaches out. And then you're like, well, I don't even reach out. So maybe I can't get mad at them for not reaching out to me. So this one's like a little bit of ownership of like, I'm feeling lonely. So I'm going to reach out to people I haven't connected with, 3 of them. And the goal is with at least one of them, see if you can lock in plans for sometime over the next couple of days to connect. Maybe that's a virtual game night. Maybe it's to play a game together. Maybe it's just a FaceTime. But make some plan in the short term to connect with that person. And finally, the gratitude practice. I want you to identify someone in your life that you feel has given you support. I just learned this recently. We know that gratitude's a good practice in our life, but we can actually amplify the benefits of gratitude by thinking about our life without that person or without that thing. That contrast actually deepens our gratefulness for whatever that thing is. So I want you to first think about that person in your brain, someone who's giving you support. Then I want you to intentionally think about what your life would be like without that person in it. Bonus points if you actually reach out to that person and let them know that you're grateful for the life that you live that has them as a part of it. All right, you guys got that?
Yeah.
The Character Strong crew is going after this dare, this strategy, and the gratitude practice, and we hope that you are too. We're not designed to do this thing alone. We have to ask for help. And as we look up, maybe the hill looks a little bit less steep.